The night shift. Inside the world's largest cargo ship, the sea appears calm from the shore. To those watching from the coastline, the horizon is nothing more than a silent line separating darkness from the stars. Yet far beyond that invisible boundary, where no city lights exist and no human eyes can witness what unfolds, one of the largest machines ever created by mankind continues its endless journey through the Pacific Ocean. A container ship stretches nearly 400 meters across the black water. Its towering stacks carry more than 20,000 containers, each one filled with products destined for different corners of the world. Cars waiting in dealerships, hospital equipment, computer processors, children's toys, industrial machinery, and food supplies all rest inside thousands of steel boxes. Most people never think about how these goods reach their destination. They simply appear. Every supermarket shelf, every online delivery, every factory assembly line depends on invisible voyages that continue day and night across oceans that have never cared about human ambition. Tonight is one of those nights. It is 2:47 in the morning. The sky is completely moonless. Clouds hide every star, leaving the bridge surrounded by absolute darkness. Outside the windows, there is no visible horizon. Sea and sky have merged into one endless black void, where only the ship's navigation lights reflect faintly against the restless waves. Inside the bridge, however, nothing is left to chance. Soft green displays illuminate rows of navigation equipment. Radar screens rotate endlessly. Electronic charts update every second. The autopilot quietly adjusts the rudder by fractions of a degree, while dozens of sensors continuously report information that no human eye could ever detect alone. Despite the enormous size of the vessel, only 2 people are awake. The officer of the watch stands near the forward windows, scanning the darkness without interruption. Beside him, the helmsman silently monitors the ship's heading. Neither speaks unless absolutely necessary. Silence is not a sign of comfort. It is discipline. Every unnecessary conversation steals attention from something far more valuable: awareness. At sea, danger rarely announces itself with explosions or dramatic alarms. Instead, it begins with something almost invisible: a tiny light appearing on the horizon, a radar echo moving 1 degree differently than expected, a number slowly changing on a digital display. Long before disaster arrives, it first appears as information, and information must never be ignored. Thousands of kilometers away, millions of people are sleeping peacefully. None of them realize that the products waiting on tomorrow's store shelves are currently crossing one of the most unpredictable environments on Earth. The ocean follows no schedule. It recognizes no holidays. It offers no second chances. A cargo ship cannot simply pull over. It cannot stop in the middle of the Pacific. There are no emergency lanes, no nearby repair stations, no roadside assistance. Only water, in every direction. The nearest coastline may be hundreds of nautical miles away. If something fails tonight, the people aboard must solve it themselves. There is no one else. The bridge windows reveal nothing except darkness. Yet the radar tells a completely different story. Several vessels travel within 50 nautical miles. None can be seen. Their existence is represented only by moving symbols, course vectors, identification numbers, and predicted closest points of approach. The bridge crew learns to trust instruments more than eyesight. Human vision ends where darkness begins. Technology extends it beyond the horizon. Every few minutes, another radar sweep completes its rotation, another calculation, another prediction. The ship continues forward at nearly 20 knots. At that speed, even a vessel of this size requires several kilometers to come to a complete stop. Unlike automobiles, momentum at sea becomes a force almost impossible to reverse quickly. The bridge crew constantly thinks far ahead, not in seconds, but in miles. Every decision made now affects where the vessel will be 30 minutes later. A small correction today prevents a dangerous situation tomorrow. Navigation is less about reacting. It is about anticipating. At exactly 3:18, an alarm briefly interrupts the silence. A target ahead has altered course. The sound lasts only 2 seconds. No panic follows. The officer calmly studies the radar. He compares electronic charts with AIS information. He checks wind direction, current speed, relative motion. Everything must agree before any action is taken. Experience teaches one important lesson. The first explanation is rarely the correct one. The sea rewards patience. It punishes assumptions. Outside, waves continue striking the enormous hull. Few passengers have ever experienced how large ships truly move. Unlike smaller boats, container vessels rarely be. Containers stacked nearly 10 stories high appear perfectly motionless from a distance. In reality, each one is secured by carefully engineered locking systems designed to withstand unimaginable forces. Still, every wave transfers enormous energy through the vessel. Cargo planners calculate weight distribution months before departure. Heavy containers remain lower. Lighter cargo occupies higher positions. Improper loading changes everything. Fuel consumption increases, stability decreases, stress spreads unevenly across the hull. One incorrect calculation can affect an entire crossing. Engineering begins long before the first wave touches steel. At 4:31, another vessel crosses several miles ahead. Its navigation lights finally become visible through the darkness. Tiny points of red and green. Nothing more. Without radar, estimating its exact movement would be almost impossible. Human perception often creates false confidence. Distance disappears over water. Scale becomes meaningless. A ship 300 meters long may appear no larger than a star. Technology exists not because humans are weak, but because human senses were never designed for endless oceans. The bridge remains dimly lit. Bright lights are forbidden. Eyes adapted to darkness become valuable instruments themselves. Even a single unnecessary light can destroy night vision for several minutes. Every detail aboard has a reason. Nothing exists by accident. Discipline is built into the environment itself. Meanwhile, somewhere inside the thousands of containers, medicines remain refrigerated. Fresh fruit continues traveling toward another continent. Industrial robots wait to be installed in distant factories. Emergency medical supplies cross the ocean unnoticed. Entire economies quietly ride inside steel walls. People often celebrate technological breakthroughs. Rarely do they admire the invisible systems that allow those breakthroughs to reach civilization. Transportation creates no headlines until it stops. At 5:12, the eastern horizon begins showing the faintest shade of blue. Night slowly retreats. The bridge crew has spent another watch scanning instruments, verifying positions, monitoring traffic, checking weather, updating logs, communicating with engine control, and preparing the vessel for another officer taking over in less than an hour. Nothing extraordinary happened. No collisions, no mechanical failures, no dramatic rescues. From the outside, it would appear that nothing happened at all. Yet this quiet night represents one of humanity's greatest achievements. Not because enormous ships exist, but because thousands of people, separated by different watches, different departments, different countries, and different generations, perform their responsibilities with remarkable consistency. Civilization rarely depends on heroes. It depends on ordinary professionals, repeating extraordinary standards every single day. As sunlight finally reaches the endless Pacific, another shift quietly begins. The new officer of the watch reviews weather reports, confirms the ship's position, verifies engine status, checks upcoming traffic. The previous watch leaves the bridge without applause, without recognition, without anyone on land ever knowing their names. The ship continues westward, exactly as planned. Somewhere far away, ports prepare for its arrival. Factories expect their materials. Hospitals wait for medical equipment. Families anticipate deliveries they ordered with a single click. None of them will ever think about the silent bridge that crossed the night. Perhaps that is the greatest paradox of modern civilization. The more perfectly something works, the less anyone notices it. Every successful voyage disappears into normal life. Every safe crossing becomes invisible. Yet beneath every ordinary morning lies an extraordinary chain of unseen discipline stretching across oceans, engines, satellites, steel, mathematics, and human judgment. The sea never promised safety. It never guaranteed tomorrow. It only offered a path to those willing to respect its rules. And somewhere beyond the horizon, while the world wakes believing everything simply arrived on time, another bridge enters another night. Another crew begins another silent watch. Another invisible chapter of civilization quietly continues across the endless ocean.